Yo people, what it do? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Tony, aka Two Tone, and this video today, man, it's a match preview against our old beloved buddies, man. PSG, two European giants clashing again. I feel like we play them so much now, especially in the Champions League. So these are two teams that are familiar with each other, but in today's video, just gonna be, breaking down my thoughts on it, and at the end of the video I would like to get your guys' opinions on it as well, as far as prediction and what you guys think about the match just in its totality. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. I'm gonna be sharing my screen like per usual, and let's start off with this. So in context of the match, when you look at the group standings right now, with only one game played, PSG is still top 5, which is impressive knowing that they're surrounded by teams who've already played 2 games. But with PSG, they won their first game 4-0. It was against Atalanta, and I believe that match was at home. And obviously for Barcelona fans, we know our first game we won 2-1 at St. James's Park. It's not too much on the line, I'm gonna be honest, in regards to win, lose, or draw. I do believe both teams will be fine. I still expect PSG and Barcelona to be in the top 8, not just qualifying and making it to the playoff round, right? Because that's 9 through 24 is like a knockout round before you get to the guaranteed spots, if I'm not mistaken. This is still a new process, and I can't really remember too much from last year. But I do believe win, lose, or draw, both PSG and Barcelona will be in the top 8. That's for sure. So it's not really too much that's at stake, but it's still two teams that, let's be honest, man, like between the fan bases, I know for sure they don't really rate the opposite club, right? And PSG has had a history with approaching some of our players. Barcelona, when we had the funds to be able to afford PSG players, we had a history of approaching theirs. So I know as far as the fans' sake, I know me personally, I don't fuck with PSG. I'm just gonna be honest, I just don't fuck with PSG. And I'm sure I got a PSG buddy, and he don't like Barcelona either. So look, while it's not a lot on the line, it is still pride. I know I don't want to lose to PSG, especially with how we went out the last time we played, but we'll get more into that, man. But as far as just the table situation, current form, both teams are looking solid. We're looking at Barcelona's last 5 matches. We've done well. We've done well in La Liga. We're currently number 1 in the standings. And in our last Champions League match, again, we beat Newcastle 2-1. So right now, Barcelona's in good form. We're looking solid. We only had one game where we dropped points, and that was against Rayo Vallecano. And remember, we didn't have a home stadium at that time. Excuse me. So that was like our 3rd consecutive road game, which is tough for anybody to do. And to manage to get out of that without a loss, to me, is impressive. And look, my eyes is teary's allergy season, so roll with me on that. But again, just looking at Barcelona's current form all season, I've been impressed with what we were able to do, understanding the stadium situation, and for most of the season already, the team hasn't all been healthy at once. So the fact that we got guys stepping up in positions they normally wouldn't start, understanding that the first 3 games in La Liga we didn't have a home match, and the fact that they're still pushing through top of La Liga, played well in their first game at a difficult place to play, especially on Champions League nights, because the opponent that we're playing tomorrow in PSG, they played Newcastle, and from what I remember, they lost 4-1. So it's not an easy place to go. So right now, Barcelona's form, we're looking really good. I'm very confident going into the match, especially knowing that we got Lamine Yamal back. Unfortunate for us, we don't have Mr. Champions League himself in Rafinha, but I do believe with Rashford coming in, if PSG fans, y'all know damn well who Rashford is. I do believe that we will be fine up front with a trio of Rashford, Lamine, and from what I've been seeing, reports are saying that Ferran Torres will be starting, which is interesting because they're saying that Hansi Flick may go with Ferran Torres because he wants to press like hell. And with the front three like Rashford, Ferran Torres, and Lamine, you're going to get that. With Lewandowski, at his age, while he can press, he's not what Ferran is. And he's not going to exert all of his energy pressing. So if your approach is to press like hell, then that front three will be Rashford, Lamine Yamal, and Ferran Torres up front. Do I agree with that? Look, I'm not the manager. If he feels like at home you want to press a team like PSG, then he's going to do that. It'd be interesting to see if he ends up going with that, or if it's just rumors and reports that we still end up seeing Lewandowski starting. He did play the last 2 matches, and the last match he did start. I was a bit surprised seeing for him starting against Sociedad and getting 90 minutes in that match, because I was thinking with the Champions League next, you would want to reserve him. But he kind of showed his hand in showing that if I'm going to play Lewandowski 90 minutes, that's either Lewandowski telling Hansi that I'm ready, I need the 90 minutes to get ready for PSG, or hey, I'm going to play you in this league match, but I'm going to have you come off the bench in the Champions League so you can get 90 minutes, and I'm going to reserve Ferran for only maybe 30 minutes so he can be ready to press like hell against PSG. So the form as a Barcelona fan going into that match, for me, I have a bit of confidence in that. What do you guys think in that aspect? Because when I look at PSG's form, they're at the top of they're at the top of Ligue 1 as well. Well, they're joint tied with Lyon. And really the only tough team they really played in the league has been Marseille. And they credit to Marseille. They kept a clean sheet. I know guys has been in and out of the lineup with PSG, but for Marseille to win at home and to keep a clean sheet, I don't care who they're playing up against. When it's PSG, for them, it means the world. And that's an impressive result. And remember, Marseille had a really good game against Real Madrid. And I felt they probably should have got more out of that game going up 1-0 early. But unfortunately for them, they ended up losing 2-1. So the first, I'm not going to say the first, but because, look, Atalanta can be tricky, but you got to play them at their house. If you got Atalanta on the road, honestly, they're not too much to fear. So while they're not too much to fear, they're still a Champions League opponent, and PSG handled them well, winning 4-0. But they aren't unblemished as far as their record, because they did lose to Marseille 1-0. I don't expect it to be a tight-knit 1-goal game between Barcelona and PSG, but this is just to give a reference point. I still think, even with some players missing in their lineups, which we're going to get more into, PSG in the Champions League, after winning it last year, especially with Luis Enrique, they're going to be ready. And against Barcelona, for sure, they're going to be ready. So while team form is a context, a reference point, I'm going to be honest, you can throw all that out the window. Because of the fact that when it's Barcelona and it's PSG, they're going to get up for it no matter who's available. Both teams is going to put in their all because of the fact of who their managers are, and Hansi Flick and Luis Enrique. So while they have one loss, again, these are two teams that are at the top of their domestic leagues, who has a lot to prove in the Champions League. I know a lot of people may say PSG don't have anything to prove. They just won the Champions League last year. I do think how you follow up a Champions League victory is just as important as trying to get your first. That was their first ever. Some people may look at that as a fluke. I know a lot of people gave them their credit and their flowers and saying that they was a fantastic team last year, but there's a couple guys that's missing, not only just due to injury, but just they're no longer with the team. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens between the two. in regards to, what they line up and how they approach the game. But I'm like I said, man, I think form is going to go out the window for these two teams. And when I look at Barcelona versus PSG, man, and you think about all the crazy matches that's happened between them, if you look at our head-to-head record between the two, Barcelona has 5 wins, has 4 draws, and 4 wins for PSG. Bro, out of 9 games, I'm sorry, that's 13 games. Where's my maths? Out of 13 games, to have 5 wins, 4 draws, 4 wins for PSG, it doesn't really get any closer than that. So you can't really go off history to say PSG has Barcelona's number and vice versa. When it comes to these two, you really don't know what you're going to get. So, two teams that don't like each other. Two teams that compete against each other every time they do play against each other, and their record overall is basically even, which is honestly kind of impressive to see when I've looked at the head-to-head. I'm like, wow, there's really not much between the two clubs. So, while they're a foe, it's a credible foe, man. I got to give credit to PSG when it's due. But if you look at who has a chip on their shoulder, it still has to be Barcelona, even if we have more wins in the head-to-head matchup, because of the fact that we all remember how that shit went down in 2024. I still, when I see anybody talking about that game, if the highlights show up on my timeline, that 4-1 loss, I don't even watch it, because I still haven't fully recovered for it. And Pedri was quoted saying that this game is going to be a bit of a revenge game. If I have to be honest, right now, the psychological edge would be with PSG because of the fact that they won the Champions League last season. And the last time they played Barcelona, though they lost at home, they've won at Barcelona when we played at the Montjuic. Now, you can say the red card had a heavy hand into it, and I would agree, because we were up 1-0, and then when that red card happened, all 4 of their goals came after the red card. So they will have the psychological edge just off the strength of last time we played these guys, not only we won, we knocked them out the competition. Now, they're not fully loaded with guys like Mbappe and Dembele and Donnarumma in goal and whatnot. And Barcelona may not even have Rafinha, who scored 3 of the 4 goals we scored against PSG. So we have to have somebody else step up as far as putting the ball in the back of the net. While PSG has a psychological advantage, it's slight. I'll give them credit on that. They have an advantage, but I do believe it's a slight advantage. So let's see what role and factor that plays, because I know if Pedri is saying, hey, we remember how we went out, and we want revenge for that. And in that first game, we were doing well. We won at PSG. Remember, Pedri didn't even start that game. He came in the second half, got a beautiful assist to Rafinha, but I'm sure he's ready to step up. And the way he's been playing all of last year and this year, while Pedri has always been a talent, he's a lot better than what he was then. And the fact that we're going to have him and Frankie de Jong available, it'd be interesting to see how the game unfolds. When I look at the matchup between the two, so based on availability, when I look at PSG squad, I'm still waiting for Barcelona squad by the time I posted this video. Barcelona hasn't came out with their squad yet, so it'll be interesting to see any omissions. But for PSG's sake, there's some names that I don't see in here. I don't see a Dembele. I don't see a João Neves, a Vitinha. I'm sorry, Vitinha, João Neves, and Fabian, they're going to start, because I remember they were saying they weren't going to be included in the squad, but then when they came out with the squad list, these guys are obviously included. The names that is missing is Marquinhos in the back, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia is a new one, and Doué, which it was always going to look like he wasn't going to be able to make the match. So it's mainly their attacking threat. That midfield is still that midfield. And I think for me, watching PSG even last year, the best thing about them were the midfield trio. So they're still going to have that for PSG. So I hope Barcelona don't think because we see their attackers missing and they don't have Donnarumma in goal like they did last year, it's going to be an easy match. Because I would totally disagree with that mindset going into a match against PSG. You have to look at them differently now, man. They're European champions. And I cannot believe I said that because I've been watching the sport for a long time, bro. And I never thought PSG would be able to win it. No matter how much money they spent, I always used to look at how the League On doesn't prepare you to win the Champions League. But obviously, they proved not only myself, but a lot of people wrong by going out there and winning that. So, I'm sure Hansi Flick is going to have these guys ready, even though there are some guys missing, key players missing for PSG. I still believe Hansi will make sure that they're ready. And likewise for Luis Enrique. The squad list hasn't came out for PSG by the time I recorded this video. But we know Fermin Lopez is not going to be in there. We know Rafinha is not going to be in there. Who else? Any obvious omissions? Oh, and John Garcia, duh. We're not going to have him. Balde is back, but he's in the squad. He should be. When they do come out with the list, he should be in the squad. I just don't think he's going to be starting. He's going to have that same approach like he did with Lamine Yamal in the last game against Real Sociedad, where maybe after 60 minutes, he finally comes in and gets 25, 30 minutes of play. So I think that's what he's going to do with Balde. But yeah, key players is missing on both sides. But I believe the manager is going to have both of these guys, both teams, ready to play, no matter who's missing. But all in all, with all the names missing and, team form and all that, I think it's still going to be an exciting game because of the style of play that both PSG and Barcelona like to run. They love having the ball. They love pressing really high without the ball. It's going to be a lot of goals scored, and that's even with the names missing. This is why a lot of people really wanted to see both teams play with the full list, because with this style of play and the stars that could be on the field, we can get a lot of goals in this game. But even without those names, I still believe goals will be scored in this game. I don't think either of the two teams is going to keep a clean sheet. If 90 minutes are played and either one of the two teams has 0 goals, I'm not gonna lie, I'll be shocked. Even with PSG and the names that we talked about who are missing, if they don't end up with at least a goal, I'll be shocked, just because of the style that they play. Pressing up, sometimes that gives you a reward where you can win the ball in the final third, and if a guy's in the right place at the right time. With that midfield pulling the strings, I could see them getting a goal. And like I said, same for Barcelona. We already know Hansi Flick's high line, high press, all out, especially at home. We already know what we're going to get on that. So I do believe it will be some goals scored. As far as a prediction, let me see. As far as a prediction goes, my bad, yeah. As far as prediction goes, I think Barcelona will win, but it will be close. I'm thinking the final score may be 3-2. That's what my gut is telling me, that Barcelona would win this game. But I want to give respect to PSG, because my initial thought was, we're at home, I don't care who's playing, we're going to put up goals, especially against a team that likes to play with a high line. But I think it's going to be most of the match is going to be controlled under possession. So because of that, like I said, you're going to get goals from Barcelona, you're going to get goals from PSG, but in a different way than what we used to playing against in La Liga, right? So I do think there's going to be goals scored, but yeah, man, y'all let me know what y'all think on this, because like I said, I have Barcelona winning this match 3-2. Let me know what y'all score predictions will be. If you have Barcelona winning, what's the score of your prediction? If you have Barcelona losing, you're a PSG fan and you think that y'all will win, y'all let me know what y'all score will be. At the end of the day, it's just predictions, and we're going to see tomorrow what's up. And I'm going to be live streaming that match. I'm excited because that's a big game. Even understanding it's still early in the group stage, it's only match round number 2. But you don't want to lose. Either club doesn't want to lose to the other. And understanding the style of play and goals being scored, it's hard to flat out say for sure who will win. But me being a Barcelona fan, me being a little bit biased, I'm going to give us the edge, winning 3-2. Just nipping it barely, but I do believe we will win. So, yeah, man, y'all let me know what y'all think on that, man. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm almost to 100, just 4 more subscribers away, but I'm almost at 100. And again, let me know what you guys think on the prediction, if you agree or disagree with my scoreline. And drop your scoreline predictions in the comments as well. But I do appreciate y'all for watching this, man. I'm sorry this ended up being a long video, but I just wanted to get all of my 2 cents on it. I haven't really done this. I believe this is my first match preview I've done on my channel. Y'all let me know if y'all like that. I can go back to just reacting to the game and live streaming. If y'all like to see match previews, y'all tell me what y'all like to see from me on my end, and I'm gonna try my best to deliver. But I do appreciate y'all for watching. If you made it all the way this far, very appreciative. And just listening to me not ranting, but just rambling on about this match, because I'm excited, man. This is a big match. A lot of people who are just soccer fans as a whole, a lot of people's gonna be tuning in, and this is not a match you want to lose, especially with some of the names that they have out. So it's gonna be a big match for sure. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next video. So until then, Two Tone is out.